Hi and welcome to today's show. This exclusive programme is brought to you by ChelseaFan12.com.
And tonight, there was a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Bournemouth in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup.
So here we are in the Finsborough Arms after the game here, Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup with Chopper Harris and Gary Chivers. Quite a full pub, quite a busy night. Not an enterprising game, not that interesting, but in the end the result counts for 1-0 win, Gary.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good game, you have to say, but I think we made something like 7 changes before the start of the game. We always knew we was going to make changes, and it was a bit of a drab game when you think there was so much on it as well, you know. Getting to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup would be an achievement. And eventually we puffed away at it and eventually got the right result.
Once again, talking about not many chances because we played too slowly, didn't we?
Well, I think that, that seems to be the modern trend nowadays. That, as Chivs said, the good thing that come out of it is that we're in the next round. I know we've got the Spurs, but, you're in a semi-final, but I don't think it was too inspiring a game from both sides really when you look at the chopping and changes, which I think is degrading the competition.
There weren't too many changes and most of the first team was still out there. I thought Loftus-Cheek had a good game on the wing more than when he was dropped back into midfield late on in the game.
Yeah, he's a strong player, Loftus-Cheek, and I think he's just finding his feet again. It's very, very hard when you're coming into the side and you're only playing for a bit part. And what I mean by a bit part, you're only coming on for 20 minutes. Now, when he starts the game, he looks far better. And it's just hard picking up the tempo of the game and then getting in your stride. If you have 4 or 5 games, but unfortunately for Loftus-Cheek, he's not had 4 or 5 games on a spin, and that's when you see the best coming out of him.
You look like you're a man of steel. You weren't nervous about anything, but would you be nervous about a quarter-final at home? Does it have a little bit more to it?
No, it affects some people more than others. I was never nervous. I used to think that if I made a mistake and passed the ball to the opposition and everybody's groaning, I never meant to pass it to the opposition. And you think yourself, you've got to make 2 things to put it right. So this happens in football, and you just got to get on with it.
He doesn't make many changes normally, and then he changes the whole team if he has to. But we had Giroud up front, so we had a centre forward tonight. That changed things, but he didn't get much service, did he?
Well, the thing is, when you've been playing with one up front and that one being Eden Hazard, that's something to come into and try and justify your place in front of him. And I know we was resting Eden Hazard, but we've been playing a different way with him. Eden Hazard's been dropping back into midfield. He's been dropping in between the midfield and the 2 centre halves. He's hard to pick up, whereas Giroud is an out-and-out centre forward. He's somebody you can play a ball up to, and he'll keep hold of the ball. But with Hazard drops everywhere. He goes out to the right, he goes out to the left. Well, if you think we've been playing that way with success for the last 2 games and played really, really well, all of a sudden we've changed our pattern of play, and that's hard.
He brought a breath of fresh air on, didn't he, Hazard, when he came on? It's going to be so tough to keep him, though, in the summer, with new managers popping up here and there everywhere. Well,
obviously, if you picked a world 11, I'm sure Eden Hazard would get in there. But the question is, I suppose it's down to the player and the agent. And hopefully for a lot of the Chelsea supporters, they hope that he stays here. Because I think he is one hell of a player. He takes people on, beats people early, easily. And he scored about 10 goals this season, so
it's 99 in his career, so he needs 1 more for the 100. Quick word on Jose Mourinho losing his job at Man United. A bit of a smile on your face there. What your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if you look at the fella's track record, everywhere he's been very successful. But 2.5 years is a maximum he seems to stay. And I don't think when you look at the Manchester United in our time, the free-flowing attacking football, that's been squashed on the head with the way he plays. But as I say, if you look at his track record, he's done very well. But I would imagine the majority of the Manchester United players are not sorry that he's gone.
every 2.5 years. But when you got married, isn't it?
The thing with Jose Mourinho is, we knew he was going to get the sack, and it's been coming, and it's been off and on. But let me tell you something now. That chairman of that football club has not just woken up on a Monday morning and thought, do you know what, that's enough, I'm going to sack him. He knows he's going to get rid of him for weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. He would have been out there identifying a manager to come in at the end of the season. He might be tied up with the club now, but he would have been in contact with that manager, and the first thing he'd be saying to that manager, do you want to become Manchester United manager? Yes, I do. Then he's going to be saying, right, get a list of players what you can identify that we can make targets. They haven't woken up on Monday morning and he's thought, do you know what, we'll sack our manager today. They don't do it like that.
Do you think Pochettino will be sending it by fax then to him?
Do you know what, you hear rumours, Pochettino, they didn't buy in the summer. He's probably looking at their board for ambition, a bit of ambition. He's done fantastically well at Tottenham Hotspur with what he's been given. Yeah. And he'll be a great manager to go over to Manchester United. And everyone's saying about Eddie Howe probably getting the Tottenham job. You could see that. But they know who's going to be manager of Manchester United in the summer.
You wouldn't have put much money on Solskjaer, would you, as an interim manager? Who'd have thought that?
Well, the thing with Unagella Solskjaer, I mean, he didn't have a very good time at Cardiff, and I feel sorry for him because he's come from Molde, which is in the Norwegian League, which is sort of like really non-league style
you
play.
You played up there, didn't you?
No, I played for Lund in the Ullevål Stadium. Yes, but
that's in Norway, though, isn't it?
That's in Norway. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to suggest.
Yes. Yeah. But for him to come in and do what he's doing from Molde to come to Manchester United, he's going to need a lot of help. And his first game is what? Cardiff.
Yeah. 3 points in the bag. Quick word on the semi-final. We couldn't get Burton Albion. That would have been too easy. Tottenham.
I think when you get to a semi-final of a competition, it's nice to pick and choose. I'm sure everybody would have liked to have played against Burton Albion, but it's a two-legged affair against the Spurs. And I think you go into it, thinking that you're confident of getting to the final.
First game at Wembley, I believe. Second game at the Bridge. January the 7th week it starts. So not long. We've got to do it all again soon, haven't we?
A lot to prove. We went over there. We've already gone over there, and we didn't play at all well. We got bashed 4-0.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go over there and put right, really.
It was 3-1.
3-1.
Was it 3-1? Yeah. I thought it was 4-0.
And that's near Oslo.
Yeah, Oslo. But there's a lot to prove for us to go back.
Maybe it'll be 4-0 next time.
Well, I hope so.
Chelsea.
For us. To Chelsea, yeah.
Okay, well, we've another busy week. Obviously, we got tonight out of the way with Bournemouth with a 1-0 win, and we're back again on Saturday. Leicester City are in time. Vardy's been injured. That's good news because without Vardy, they're half the team, aren't they?
Well, watching them play last night, again, they struggled without Vardy. But they're not a bad side. They lost the penalties last night to Man City, so tough game. But one of the games where you think it's going to be 3 points to Chelsea.
And a result that Arsenal lost last weekend at Southampton gives us 3 points leeway now for the top four.
Well, I think it's important to keep the momentum going. Hopefully we beat Leicester. I don't know who the Arsenal are playing, but there's a huge gap between the fourth and the sixth side. So as long as we can, I don't think we're good enough to win the Premiership. We're too far behind, but I think the best we can hope for is third or fourth place.
Great stuff. We're back then on Saturday for the Leicester game. Make sure you watch us for that and subscribe as well. And more games coming up with Tottenham in the Carabao Cup. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Visit the ChelseaFan12.com website today to keep up with all the latest Chelsea news and statistics. It's also the place to find signed shirts, photos and works of art featuring past and present legends. Sign up for free now at ChelseaFan12.com. For the fans.
I thought he done ever so well today.
And when we check out, we just make it easy for teams to defend against us. Is that why you sent them home? Because you weren't out with them? And I'm not being funny. Have you got a bush chucker troll coming up or anything like that?